All right, this one's about the step down program at ADX Supermax in Colorado. This is about the step down program and how it operates. So sit back if you want to know how El Chapo is living, the Unabomber is living, Ted Kaczynski is living, Larry Hoover is living, Pistol Pete is living. This is about the step down program in ADX Supermax. All right. All right, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. I'm going to tell you about ADX Supermax and how it operates. This is because I'm trying to prevent the youngins like Honeycomb Brazy that I did the video on yesterday from winding up in this situation. I figure if they hear about it from somebody that been there, they'll understand. First of all, when you go there, you want a big bus and you go down in this circle that goes around and around and around and around is taking you underground. Because this place was built underground in the Rocky Mountains up in Colorado. Now, when you get down there, like I told you before, so y'all might not have to look back, go back and look at my previous videos, my prison stories, my But a Lover Dog stories, my Hood Chronicles. Check out these other videos. Don't just wait for a video daily. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride, because that's what we do here at the Mecca. We ride. All right. Now, so after the universal beatdown, they take you in, right? You go see the unit manager, the counselor, the case manager, the captain, and the AW. They all sitting around a table and you feel like cattle. They trying to decide what plantation they're going to send you in. The plantation, first of all, is the prisons in general. And then you have the smaller plantations, which is the units when you get in the joint. So you see all these different people, they look at your record, they looking at you, they not saying nothing, you standing there watching, sitting there waiting to see what they gonna say next. So now they ask you real fugazi questions. How do you feel about the crime you committed? And I look at them and I tell them, I did it, didn't I? Ain't I here? And they're like, well, what would you change if you could change anything? And I let them know nothing. I'm comfortable with where I'm at, because that's where my mentality was at. I was ready for any battle or mind-blowing, mind-breaking situations they tried to bring at me. So after that, they say, okay, well, you one of them hard heads, so we're going to send you to dog block. Dog block is considered as D block. That's where you got the most violent of violence. And, we had, what was his name? Mario Villabona on D Block. We had Juan Ramon Mata on D Block. We had Bernard Goins on D Block. We had all of these people on Dog Block. So now we in the block, and while we in the block, they give us our bed rolls, right? Then they give us, in the bedroll, they got toothpaste, and the toothpaste, right? Let me tell you about that. The toothpaste comes in a little jar, and it's by Bob Barker. Bob Barker, yes, the actor that a lot of y'all don't even know because y'all are too young. Well, Bob Barker started making toothpaste and other, hygiene and things like that for the penitentiary. And it comes in a little bottle, and it's powder. Could you imagine brushing your teeth with powder in 2024? Not toothpaste, powder. You're supposed to wet the toothbrush and then sprinkle the powder on the toothbrush, and you brush your teeth, and believe it or not, it got all kinds of baking soda and all kinds of teeth whitening in it, and it keeps your teeth glowing, because they know we're going to be drinking coffee a mile a minute and smoking cigarettes a mile a minute. They took the cigarettes out, but they still got the coffee. So now once you get that and you sitting in there, then they take you over and they give you what they call a 5-year program. A 5-year program consists of 18 months in what they call general population. General population is where they keep you in the cell for 23 hours a day for your first 18 months. That's the breaking point. I've seen a lot of people get broken and don't even make it to the second phase in the program because the walls continue to cave in. This is what I want y'all youngins and elders out there that think you're going to run the streets and break the law to understand. Do you notice, like, when the walls start caving in and, you can't put your hands out to hold it off because it's too far for your hands to touch, but your mind tells you, please don't let him cave in. Please don't let him cave in. Please don't let him cave in. And you're talking to yourself, trying to talk to the walls, and you're talking to God to let him know, please release the grip on these walls because they're caving in and about to crush my mental. That's what it's like sitting in a cell for 23 hours a day for expected 18 months. If you get an incident report, you got to start that 18 months over again. I'm going to bring that back up to you again so you understand. So now you do 18 months there, they bring you your lunch, your breakfast, and your dinner, to the cell. It's hot meals, because ADX Supermax, right? It's called ADX Supermax, that stands for Administrative Detention Maximum. Administration Detention Maximum. Follow me on Instagram at Unique Mecca Audio, and the Cash App, they go to the Instagram on the screen, and that's the Cash App. Make sure you hit the logo and it says it was created in 2020. I'm going to give you a lot of jewels today that's priceless. So whatever you decide to donate, it will be appreciated. Now, so you understand, you get in there and they got you locked in this cell for 23 hours and you only come out for 1 hour. But when you do come out, you come out with the range. The range consists of 18 cells, but they only use 14 cells. They keep 4 cells empty on every range at all time. I think the maximum amount of people that they could house in ADX, because it's all Supermax, is approximately 480. And you subtract the last 4 cells. Now, they keep those last 4 cells open in case it's what they call an uprising at the USPs or in the medium or in another prison. So they always want to have beds to put the most violent of the violent. They don't want to have to put somebody there or a group of people there and they have no room to put you. So they always keep 4 beds and they shuffle it to keep 4 beds open at all times, and those usually be at the back of the range. So when we in there, we throw a line. A line is like you take a sheet, you rip the sheet up, and you tie it around like a little toothpaste they give you, from the commissary, not the Bob Barker joint, but the little toothpaste they give you. They you flatten it so it'll go under the door, and you tie a string to it, and then you put a couple of paper clips, because when they bring you the mail, they staple clip the mail after they open it and read it, and they bring you the mail, so you take the paper clip and you put it on the line, so when you throw it out and you throw it down, let's say you in cell number 1 and you're trying to reach somebody in cell 16 to get a magazine or to get a candy bar or something. You throw it out the line and you let them know, yo, I'm throwing my line. So when you throw the line, they get the line, and it's in the middle of the range, but you try and get it as close to the door as possible. They have another line. They throw the line out the door that have the same apparatus on it, and then the paper clips is what will grip on to that line. And once it grip that line, you pull that line in and you tell them, I got it. Then you tie it together, and now you have a line that'll go from cell 1 to cell 16, and you tie whatever you want on it, and you put extra sheets or extra dental floss if that's what you're using for the line. And then they put the magazines in it. You wrap it around so it don't fall off in a tear, and then you pull it down and you get the magazines in your cell, or you write a note on a piece of paper and you tie it on the line and you send a note down saying, yo, I need such and such, or, send me who's your pick for the day, who you think is going to win, between Denver and New Orleans. You know what I mean? And that's how we communicate in the cells, right? Now, so you understand, when you go in ADX, there's a big bay window, right? There's a big bay window, and then next to the window is a solid steel door and you walk in what they call a sally port. When you walk in the sally port, then they have a set of bars right in front of the cell. They have that, so when they walk in the sally port and they bring in, and they bring the food, or the medical come see you, or education come see you, or the library bring you leisure books that you ordered the day before, or they bring you law books you ordered the day before. They have what they call a cop-out. You fill out on the cop-out that you want a Jackie Collins book. When you get there, they give you a list with like 500 books they got. And you go through the list and you see what reading books you want, and then you put out a cop out saying, I want number 458, and they know 458 stands for The River God by Wilbur Smith, or it stands for, Lucky by Jackie Collins. I love Jackie Collins. Round of applause to Jackie Collins, man. Round of applause. Let's give her a round of applause, Round of applause. I read, calm down, y'all, calm down. Relax, man. Damn, could I tell this story? Now, I read every single book Jackie Collins wrote over my 26 years in federal prison. Jackie Collins helped me elevate over the walls of the penitentiary and into the words on her page. So then, what's my girl name that I like a lot, man? What the heck is her name? The urban writer. Man, I can't remember her name, but it'll come to me. But we read a lot of urban books as well, but I like self-help books and, and books that teach me about history. Like Wilbur Smith, he writes about back, in the 1400s, and will tell you what it was like then, and he gets in detail, and his books be about 700-800 pages, so that lasts about 2 or 3 days. Could you imagine reading 700 pages in 2 or 3 days? And your school teacher give you an assignment and tell you to read a book, and you sit there telling me, I can't read all that in that period of time. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But yet here it is by choice for reading 700 pages and can't put it down. I know guys that read 700 pages in a night, and every day they calling down for another book. The good thing about ADX is that when you get your books in ADX, and you're done reading your personal books that your family sent you, I told them, yes, I told them, not asked them, I told them, I said, look, I got all these books in here and other people want to read them. Could I donate this to the library and you put it on the inventory so that other brothers could read the books? And they said, man, that's a good idea. So they put out a memorandum, but in the ADX, everything is on the TV screen. So you see that little shelf behind me right there, that metal shelf up there, cement shelf. That cement shelf up there is where your TV go, but I normally put it right on the desk that's considered as a desk that's right in front of the bed. And that's the stool. Everything is made out of cement. And your bookshelf is under the bed. You see that slot under the bed right there in that picture I got up? That slot is where you line your books up or your t-shirt, underwear. That's your little storage area. That's all you have for the next 5 years. Then they give you a cardboard box, and they give you that box, and that's where you're supposed to put your commissary and whatever extra things you have in, because they try and keep it minimum because they call it a fire hazard. So welcome to ADX, youngins. This is what they have waiting for you. Brazy, I'm not trying to have you go there, so that's why I'm spending my time doing these videos, and I'm going to get into the orderly running of the prison. So if any of y'all watching this know Brazy or another young person that's acting up out there that you feel need these videos, make sure you share these videos and subscribe, hit the bell notification and the like button. Let's get these joints viral so we can wake up our youth and elders that think it's sweet within the prison, because everybody is coming home and they talking about how they was gangster in the prison. No, we're not gangster in the prison. The prison is gangster. Keep that in mind. That's what it is, Hey, I'm doing a live. I'll call you back, So that's where it's at. Just so you understand where we at. So now we up in the cell, and this is how we got to live in this little cell that I got on the screen, right? And that window right there, it shines out to the yard. The yard is where they got a basketball, hoop with a glass backboard. They got the pull-up bar, they got the dip bar on it, the sit-up bar, and that's our workout station. That's all we have right there. Just so you understand, all right? That's all we have to work out with. So now while we're sitting here working on the joint, and we come up with all kinds of exercises on that bar because we bored. So well, I'm trying to do my shoulders. So my man Mario Villabona, he had us doing something where, you know how you got the pull-up bar on top and then you got the dip bar. I know y'all seen those. And then down bottom, they got the one you could do the push-ups on the bottom. So Mario said, yo, get up on the dip bar, put your legs up on the pull-up bar, you know, and arch your body and you push down and that will get your shoulders a workout. Now I'm thinking, how the heck did he come up with this in the first place? But this is what go on in ADX. We so creative. Like I said, when I got out of ADX, because you know I like to ride, so we're going to ride to the USP a little bit, you know. Let's ride to the USP. And when I got to the USP, they'll take let me show you, man, this is crazy. They'll take a complicated remote control like this, right? And they'll take this apart and they'll put it in the institutional radios that they sell us on commissary, which is nothing more than just a regular Sony radio with AM and FM with headphones, work off of 2 AA batteries. They convert that radio into a remote control to change the channel and turn the volume up. That's normally all you have on it. They change the channel, the volume up, and they put the button on it so you could put it back. Let's say you change from 15 to 45. So you ain't got to go through each number to get it. They usually save that little button. You know this little button right here, the one that lets it go back, you know what I mean, to the other channel. They put that on it. And this is what these people, you know, my comrades came up with from sitting in the cell and wanting to get a remote control that the police cannot find to take from us. You see I give y'all these jewels? You know, you see I give y'all these jewels? Do I get a round of applause for these jewels? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Chill out, man. Relax, man. Relax. So, you know, that's how intricate it is. They make anything you could dream of. They create and bring to reality in the prison. Now, the police come through, they searching the cells down because they see the channel changing while you on lockdown to the TV that's in the hallway, so they know somebody in front of the TV must have the remote control. So they go shake the cell down, they looking for a remote control, but the whole time it's hidden in a little radio this big that they sell on commissary that every inmate has. So they pick up the radio and they throw it to the side. So normally when they come and they say that they're going to take you out to shake down the cell, they take you, and right where I'm sitting in this hallway, at the end of the cell, the last couple of cells, that'd be the shower. So they say, come on, cuff up, we're putting you in the shower to give your cell a shakedown. So the first thing you do is you grab your radio, your headphones, you put them on, and they handcuff you and they walk you down there with your radio, and they're looking for the remote control that's in the radio in your hands that they're cuffing you with. You see how creative you are? Now, where do you get this type of content? Put it in the comments. Where do you get this type of intricate what goes on within the prison content? So they put us in the shower and we got our Walkman in our hand. Our little Sony radio costs $38. And that's the remote control. And it also plays the radio to listen to the same TV that you're changing. Police went crazy. They wound up finding out about it. So you know what you are. Rat bastards, flip-flop wearing in public trolls. They already found that out because, of course, you already know a rat bastard done told them, hey, he got the remote control in the radio and he keeps changing the channel. You know, but they don't just openly do that, because if they do, they'll get the Bethlehem, as Bunky Pound says, put in them. You know what I mean? So they'll drop a kite and say, oh, there's the thing in the radio. But now when they do that, the police would take that same kite, you know, and they'll bring it to us and say, someone is complaining about you changing the channels at night, and it sells such and such, inmate such and such. So they give us a green light to punish them. And then the police would say, I get off at 4. Or I get off at 12. So, you know, handle that before I come on tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon, or before I get off, or after I get off at 4 in the afternoon. Don't do it on my shift, but we don't want none of these rat bastards in here, because if they'll tell on you, they'll tell on us. You see how that is? It's that simple. Dudes think that they're going to tell and not going to get caught, but the administration put them out there. So now they got them out there. So now, like I was going, you know, because like I ride. You see how I ride? just sit back, man. It's like I'm putting in a doo-wop tape for 20 minutes, a Ron G tape for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Or I'll play a little Baby or a little Dirk or, you know, a little Honeycomb Brazy. You know what I mean? We play whatever. And because we riding right now. This is how we ride at the Mecca. You know, for those of y'all that don't understand, say, oh, he all over the place. He's supposed to be talking about ADX and he talking about in the prison with a remote control that don't have nothing to do with ADX because in ADX, they got a TV in the cell. But you rat bastards, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to tune out. Take that with you on the way out. You already know how we do it, the Mecca. You know, so now, you know, my people enjoying this, you know, the people that need to enjoy it, that want to enjoy it. If you don't like it, go to another channel. There's plenty of other channels, no disrespect. You can come back if you want, or you could just block me, or I would definitely block you if you start that trolling crap in my comments, because nothing I hate more than a troll, than a rat bastard, and a troll has rat bastard tendencies. Remember that. That's why they're trolling. Now, if you put your real contact information on the YouTube and you where that we know who you are and we can contact you and we can get to you to put our bare hands around your neck. Now respect that. Not promoting violence, but just letting you know. If you're gonna do something, do it in your own name. Don't create a fake name and do it. Those are the rat bastard trolls I can't stand. But anyway, right, because I'm riding. Let me ride back. So now you do the first 18 months in your cell, 23 hours a day. You only come out 5 days a week. At one time, just so you understand, I like to give y'all the history of the world that I'm trying to prevent you from going in, that I put myself in by breaking the law and poisoning my community, that I'm very sorry and openly apologizing. I'm probably the first kingpin that ever came on YouTube and said that I openly apologize for poisoning my community. If you could think of another one that did it, do it and put the clip up, because you'll be lying, you know? But, you know, these rat bastards and trolls, they just look for anything to criticize. I came home and the first thing out my mouth was, I apologize to my community, because I sincerely do. Because my children, my loved ones, you know, even my mother, have to walk down the streets of this very community that I poisoned while people is out there trying to snatch my loved one's pocketbook or chains or earrings off their necks to buy my poison. So for that, I humbly apologize. Now, after that 18 months is done in what they call general population. How's the general population when you in your cell 23 hours a day? But these are the names they give it to try and help play with your mental, to let you think that this environment called ADX Supermax, you know, is normal, you know? But remember, the ADX stands for what? Put in the comments. I told y'all earlier. Now, right? So we got that going on. So after that, then you go to the step down program, which is phase 2, because that was phase 1 in general population. Phase 2 in general population is where you go and now you eat your breakfast in the, no, matter of fact, yeah, you eat your breakfast in the cell, and then you come out after breakfast, you come out to have rec either on the range, because they do everything by ranges. You see where I'm at? Okay, pay attention now. Pay attention. You know, because this is school. You see, on this first floor behind me, and then there's a gray wall, and that's the second floor. So they break this unit down in 4 parts. Each range of these 4 parts only get to rec or eat with your range. So they got to let out 4 different ranges, one at a time, for approximately 45 minutes, and then 15 minutes to put your trays up after you eat. That's like gradually getting you worked your way back in to, you know, going back to a USP and following the rules and being a good old boy. You know what I mean? So now, you know, let's take the top range. Let's take the top range to the right upstairs, right? Let's take the top range. So the top range, you know, they say top range, you know, left side, you know, coming out for, you know, breakfast. So when we go out for breakfast, we eat, we got 45 minutes to eat, 15 minutes to put our trays back up. So when we come out, we got to go to the front of the bars. They got what they call the campers, because we don't get to work in ADX, so we stay in our cell all day. So they got the guys that come from the camp at Colorado um, complex over there in Colorado. And the campers, they come in and they go in the kitchen, they prepare the food with the food supervisor, they put them in the trays, and then they bring them to the front of the bars. And when they bring them to the front of the bars, we line up and they hand us the trays one at a time, right? And we get our food, we sit down, we got 45 minutes to eat. So if you're the first one out, you get the whole 45 minutes. If you're the last one out straggling, then you only get maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes, right? So now, after we done eating, we'll run to the different cells from the other 3 different ranges to check our homies and comrades that we know, and they'll show us pictures through the door that they got yesterday, or a letter they got yesterday, or magazine or book. Yo, what you got to read? And, we swap out. You know what I mean? With the books, for you rat bastards and perverted trolls. So we swapped the magazines and books. Be like, yo, I got the new Don Diva. All right, well, let me get the new, Straits Done. You know what I mean? Or, I got a Jackie Collins. Okay, let me get the new Urban book. And we swap the books, but we got to be back in our cells. So then now we go back in. And then once we go in, then they let out the next range and the same thing go on. Now, after that breakfast move, then they have what they call a rec. 'Cause remember, the one range go to rec at the same time. But the way they do it when you get to the next phase is one rec gets to, and listen to this is the kicker. They really doing something. One range gets to come out on that range and get to take a shower. That's your time to take a shower for the day. You come out, you can take a shower, so you bring your towel, your washcloth, your deodorant, your soap, your toothpaste, and you come out and you go in the shower and you take a shower, and other dudes might be playing cards or going over something they read in a book or having frivolous conversations like who got more money between Honeycomb Brazy and Finesse 2 Times. You know what I mean? But back then it was who got the most money between Biggie and Tupac, because they was the big beef that was going on during that time. And of course, the West Coast dudes would say it was Tupac, and the East Coast dude would say it was Biggie Small. And I've seen plenty of fights, over them actually arguing over who got the most money when none of them got a pot to piss in and don't have 2 nickels to rub it together with, or even a window to throw the piss out. But they in there pulling knives on each other, trying to kill them over who got the most money between these 2 rappers. Because remember, this in the early 90s, mid-90s. So at that time, the rappers was getting played, and we used to knowing the rappers not having no money, because the rappers used to come to Club 2000, the Rooftop, the Fever, the Rolex, in Miami, you know what I mean? Magic City down in Atlanta, to see what the drug dealers was wearing, to see what we was driving so that they could emulate that, to see how we move, our mannerism, our style, our flavor, so they could put it in their raps and rap like they us. That was that first spoof movie they made called CB4 with Chris Rock when he was straight out of Low Cash, when they locked up, Charlie Murphy, and Chris Rock was acting like he was him while he was in jail. That's the same thing that went on. The rappers was acting like they was Unique and the Kevin Childs and Booby from the Booby Boys and JR from Detroit, and come on, dog. But this is what it was. So, they let one side out and they wreck on the inside of the shower, and the other side get to go to a yard, a real prison yard, but we haven't seen a prison yard in 18 months. I didn't see grass for 18 months. But I'm gonna even wake you up even more. That was in 80. I didn't see grass for 18 months. I did not see a tree or touch a leaf for over 18 years. You see how y'all take things for granted? You walk by a tree, don't even pay attention to it. You walk by a tree and they got leaves out there and you think it's getting in my shoe. I prayed to be able to touch a leaf. I prayed to be able to touch a tree. 18 years I didn't touch a tree. 18 years I didn't feel the oxygen blowing between the leaves and branches of the tree to give me that air that God created for us, because all I had was central air conditioning. And the heat from the pipe in Lewisburg that I told you about. Because in Lewisburg, the windows open up, they don't have central air. But the newer prisons had central air, so everybody wanted to go to a newer prison so they can get some air conditioning. That's crazy, right? You begging to go to another prison just so that you could have some air conditioning in your cell and in the unit. Because other than that, all they got is fans. And they don't even allow you to buy your own fan. They got these big industrial fans that they put out. That's what they said that they accused me of allegedly, taking the fan, taking off the blade, and using the pole and the motor from the blade to put pool balls in it to shoot them out like they was bullets. I got that allegedly from the One Pop in Jamaica. The Jamaican people know me on top, but when we say the One Pop, so we make a One Pop, but this wasn't a One Pop. So you drop a pool ball and bang, 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 and they shoot out like tornadoes. They had this glass that, had chicken wire in between it. Y'all seen that back in the day. The joint that I was allegedly accused of putting together, the pool ball shot and broke the glass and went through the chicken wire. The police seen a pool ball coming through and said, there's no way in hell somebody threw that ball that fast, or we'll release him right now and send him to the Yankees to go be a pitcher, like David Mariano or something. You know what I mean? But that was the fan. You see how we ride at the Mecca? See how we ride? All right. So now let's get back. So now we got wrecked in the yard while the other half got wrecked in the unit, in the general area behind me. And that's wreck, right? Where you're looking at, that's where we had wreck for 18 years. Now, right? When we get out there, they got football field, they got an indoor gym with a full court basketball with air conditioning. Whoopee! You know what I mean? But these are the things we had to look forward to. They actually had grass when I didn't see grass for 18 months. So now, first thing I did when I got to the grass, right, was lay out on the grass and take my shirt off to feel the sun on my face and my upper body while I laid there and just enjoyed the breeze. See, youngins, this is what you want? If this is what you want, keep doing what you're doing. But I'm telling you, don't do it. It ain't worth it, So now, after we do that, that's step 2. Then they got step 3. Step 3 is another one. They called it H unit back then. Now H unit is where they keep the controlled, what's it called? It's control unit is what they call it. Control unit is where you got people like Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, and when you go in the cell, instead of coming out in the day room, at the back of the cell, they got a door, and you walk out the back door, and it's like you walking into a dog kennel. And that's your wreck. Every day for 5 years. Until they decide to let you out. That's the control unit. So, people was outside protesting for it. So they said that, that was cruel and unhumane to treat us like animals and letting us out this little back cage that'll mess with our psyche. That's why when I tell you, I know I'm burnt out. There's no way you've been through what I've been through. There's no way you even been to prison and you come out the same. You don't come out the same. Because we wasn't created by God to live in a confined environment. That's why God put us in the jungle. You know what I mean? That's why we was in Africa in the jungle, So now, imagine putting a cage. You know those little dog cages you put your dog in when he, when company come over so the pit bull don't bite. Imagine them putting you in a cage like that. That's what it was. All we could do was stand up, you know what I mean? And jump up and down to do push-ups and jumping jacks right in the cage. And then we get to talk to the person next to us because it was like a cage, and then it's a little piece of thing, and then another cage with a chicken wire. That's so you can't pass nothing through the cage and, can't touch another inmate. And could you believe every time I came out my cell, while I was in ADX, every time I came out my cell, they had like 4 police, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they got me handcuffed and shackled just to walk 10 feet. You put all these chains on me to take me 10 feet because you that scared of me. That alone is a psychological, breakdown where you think, am I that dangerous? Then after a while, you start believing you that dangerous. Then after a while, you start acting that dangerous. So the very thing they put in place to try and cure us is the things that drove us crazy. I know a dude, right? Because you know me, I like to ride. And you see how long this is? It's 35 minutes. I'm up here kicking. I feel like riding right now. So you had a dude, right, that used to take all his clothes and put it under, his uniform and put it under his mattress all week. And that's the ironing board. That's the iron. Put it under there and by him sleeping on it and leaving with the mattress pressing down, it gets the wrinkles out. He put it on, he buttoned his shirt all the way up, put his shirt in his pants, and he looks studious. Now, every Friday and Saturday night, he'll put on his clothes. And yeah, because because you already know the rat bastards and trolls say, how you know what he doing is sale? Well, I'm going to answer that for you rat bastards, right? When you're in the cell, I told you they got the big bay window on the outside, then the door with a little window. When you in there, you can stand at the bars, look out that bay window or the little door, window in the door, and you can see, when they turn the lights off in the hallway and they got the lights on, in the other thing. You could see the reflection of what's happening on the rest of the tier. This dude used to sit there all dressed up, then take his mattress and tie his mattress up with sheets to his bars, and he'll beat and kick his mattress and call that every Spanish cuss word in the book is what he called his mattress, which was equivalent to his woman. Bitch, where you was at? Boo, boo, boo. I know you cheating on me. Da, 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 da. I know you did this. You ain't never been no good. And he's kicking and he beat this mattress for hours until he fall asleep 6 o'clock in the morning. Every Friday and Saturday night. And these people had nowhere to put him, even though they know he got psychological issues and trauma. So they just left him there to beat up this mattress and press his clothes under his mattress every week. Make sure you subscribe. See, I got the new subscribe joint twirling, but right now when I come over this way, when I move over this way, it blocks it. So I got to get, I got to fix that. I didn't know until after it start. That's why I'm sitting right here. Now, so, because remember we riding. Okay, let's ride back to 80X. So now they put us there in 80X. So once we get there and we get the yard and we get that for 18 months, then they put us in another phase for another 18 months. And that's when, remember the first phase is 18 months locked in the cell 23 hours a day. Second phase is when you come out for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have the thing on the range. The third phase is where, you get to go outside to the yard where you get to finally touch grass. Finally get to, and it's crazy. Y'all can laugh at me. Those little weeds that grow in between the grass. I used to go out there and take that and just put it in my mouth and chew it like if it was a toothpick. I used to go out there and just sit there and chew the grass. I was that happy. I'm chewing dirty grass. And that was, come on. But, that was it. So then when you get to the other phase now, right? So that's right there. That's 18 plus 18, right, months. Then 18 months. And then they put you in another joint for about 9 months, 6 months to 9 months, called the Unicore unit. The Unicore unit is where, you come out the cell. They call it the final phase, right? When you get to the final phase, you get to come out your cell from 6 in the morning like a regular USP with everybody from all 4 tiers. So now we had more people to talk to where we started off the first 18 months only able to talk to ourselves for 23 hours a day and got to talk to somebody for 1 hour a day. Now we get to talk to them for the whole 10 hours that they keep us out for the day. Round of applause to that. Round of applause. That's how I used to peel the stacks when I was on the street. Now I'm in here chewing grass. I'm being locked in the cell talking to myself, listening to another man beat up his mattress like it's his no good woman that did something. 9 times out of 10, she wasn't no good. She ain't do nothing wrong. He was just burnt out and an alcoholic and came home drunk and just all the foolery he did, he took out on her. So now we in the final phase. Because remember, we riding. So now we're in the final phase and we come out all day on the range. And then they got 2 sides though. You know what I mean? So one side got maybe 30 inmates, the other side got maybe 30 inmates, and one side with the 30 inmates go to work in a Unicore from in the morning You know what I mean? Shift. That's from like 7:30 after breakfast. Because when you get up, they take you, they walk you to a little kitchen. This is the first time we've seen a kitchen in 4 years. So they walk us down to a regular prison kitchen, and, they pat you down, and then, you go in there, and then they feed they bring you back, then they feed the other side, and then when both sides come back, then they have a count, and then they'll take, the north side, you know what I mean, and take them to the Unicore, and they work from like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. And that's your shift. Oh, my bag. From 7:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock. And then you leave from the Unicore factory, and you go eat your lunch. And when you go eat your lunch, you go back to the unit. Then the other range, they go eat, and then they go right to work from there. So they split up the 30 instead of having 60 people in the Unicore that's violent and that they feel they couldn't control in a regular USP. So that's how the days play out in there. So we went in there, like I said, we made the chair cushions, the backs and the bottoms, because it was only plastic and for the bottom piece, and then it was foam that had the material over it, and like I said, a staple gun. And somebody put in the comments, you already know we were shooting each other with the staple. All day we shooting each other with the staple guns. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? We running around and the police tell us, man, cut that out. You know what I mean? And you wind up shooting at them too. Blah, 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 blah. So that's how it was. So after you do that and you get to that phase, now imagine this. Imagine you getting that far done and you know you only got 9 months left, right? And you knock 3 months out. And then you get a police that don't like you or is just, a prick. You know what I mean? And the police come and he shakes your cell down and he says, oh, you have a plastic kitchen spoon in your cell. It wasn't supposed to leave the kitchen. So I'm going to write you up for having unauthorized material within your cell. Now, when they write you up for that whole 3 years that you did don't count, because you got to go all the way back to phase 1. And the program that was supposed to be for 4 years or 5 years now, you know what I mean, becomes 8 or 9 years if you made it that far and you got to start over. I know brothers that's been in there between Marion and there for over 40 years in this environment. And the police mess with them so bad, they don't even want to come out to a USP because they feel it's worse. You know what I mean? They're comfortable because they could be locked in their cell and away from everybody. But this is what they have to offer, Mr. Honeycomb Brazy. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to save your life, man. That's it. Make sure y'all at him and make sure Brazy sees this so he knows what they have to offer. It's nothing like the Alabama county jail that he sat in and, was locked in a cell fighting knife to knife. You know what I mean? And there's no dorms in ADX. There's no double cells in ADX. So that's where we at. Cop the book of Raw in Harlem. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification button and hit the like button. And cop the book of Raw in Harlem. And stay out of jail, man. All right? Let's get this thing popping. All right?
Cheers. Cheers. Toast the crime. Toast the crime. The crime. The crime. The crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops Mecca audio.
Mecca
get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. They be horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the rudiments.